All right, I'm joined by Herve Sedky. Herve, tell everybody your title and the organization you work for.
Sure. I'm the president and CEO of Emerald. I also chair the ECA, by the way. So today was a really special day for me. It was fun.
Tell us about you've been the chair of ECA for a year. Is it
No,
a
since its founding. So it's been a little one. I think it's my third year. And I'm proudly passing on the baton at the end of this year to Fernando Fischer, who will be a phenomenal next board chair.
so for some context, how many years have you been in the industry? And just give us the snapshot of what Emerald does, the trade shows that you work on, to give the context of your position.
Yeah, I've been in the industry about 9 years. Not extremely long, but enough to really get to know the industry and really love the industry. It's a phenomenal industry, and I'm so happy that I joined the industry. I did two jobs in the industry. I started at Reed Exhibitions running the Americas, and then more recently, 4 years ago, joined Emerald as SEO.
So number of events that Emerald produces all over the US. I'm trying to give
Yes.
some idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we are the largest US based organizer. We have over 90 events, and they are largely US based, although we have a few outside of the US. But our strategy is really mostly to focus on the US market, to grow the US market. As everyone knows in the industry, highly fragmented industry. So even as one of the top players in the industry, we have very low single digit market share. And so there's a ton of opportunity to grow inside of the US. Occasionally, we find assets that have great assets in the US and assets outside the US. And so those are very interesting to us. And so we'll continue to explore these types of opportunities. But our strategy is not to become a global show organizer.
But a public company as well,
Yes,
so publicly traded.
we're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange, but we have a majority private equity shareholder in Onyx.
So a major trade show organizer here today representing. So how many times have you participated then in Legislative Action Day?
This is my third time. The third time participating. And I was not able to participate last year due to some conflicts, but I participated the 2 years prior to that. And it is fascinating to me to go around and meet. Today, I represented the New York state. We met with 6 different staffers of different congressmen and senators. It was fascinating to me to learn that they really don't understand the impacts of our industry. I found that most of the people we met with really understand the fact that we employ a lot of people. So the fact that New York, for instance, 141,000 people, whatever that we have, they get that part. They get the fact that we employ union workers and that we work with convention centers and so forth. They also understand the economic impact in terms of the geographical economic impact, in terms of we bring in a ton of people and they stay in hotels and in restaurants and so forth. Those two parts of the impact is really fairly well understood. What they don't understand is actually the biggest impact that we have. And the biggest impact that we have is that we serve small businesses. And 85% of our customers for Emerald or for the industry are small businesses. And many of them start at a trade show. Whether it's a designer like David Yurman that starts in a jewelry show and now becomes the very well-known brands, or a million other customers that I walk around and meet, and they say, we were able to be successful because of your show. Recently, I met one who said to me, we had a prototype, not even a product. We exhibited at one of your shows. We got $100,000 or so order, and it put them on the map to be able to manufacture, and they are now a proper company. That is a story that we hear over and over again across our business. The people here on Capitol Hill didn't really totally understand that is what drives the American economy. And I found that really fascinating today.
Yeah, new products, new innovations, those small 10 by 10s that are just the entrepreneurs coming out. It's like Shark Tank on steroids at a trade show.
Speaking of Shark Tank, I watch Shark Tank from time to time. And if you notice, many times when they're asked, where will you spend the money? They say, we'll spend it on attending a trade show. It's really amazing to me. That view is really not as well known. And I think that today, for me anyway, was really beneficial in reminding them of the economic impact in terms of the number of people we hire and the economic impact of the geography, but also this massive economic impact And therefore, we have to also talk about some of the policies that need to either be reversed or have to be focused on in order to help the industry. So we need to focus on labor and bringing in more labor and make sure that people have tax advantages to pay for certification, et cetera. We need to make sure that the US is not seen as a country that's closed for business, and tariffs send that signal, or long visa waiting times send that signal. And so to the degree that we can educate them on, we really need the US to remain extraordinarily competitive, and we can't send that signal of being closed for business, I thought also resonated well with the staffers that we met today.
So were you able to share those personal stories that you have experienced for your show? Yeah.
Yes, I did. And my colleagues, there were 7 of us, all did. And so it was quite powerful because you're exactly right. People remember the stories, right? They won't remember the stats and the data and so forth. Plus, we give them leave behind so they can refer back to them. That's not what they're going to remember. When they go and they update their bosses, what they're going to remember are the stories. And so we try to pepper our talks with as many stories as possible.
During one of my meetings, the staffer didn't really get trade shows,
Yeah.
obviously, either. And we were telling him a story, and pretty much every working adult has gone to a trade show or convention, or when you think about it, it really impacts 1 degree of separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. And I have said this before, but ancient Egyptians had trade shows. This is not a new concept. It'll happen for the next few thousand years. This is not anything that's going to go away. As a matter of fact, I think with AI, with changes that Google and other social platforms are implementing, the need for face-to-face marketing is increasing. Plus, there are studies that the new generation prefer face-to-face, prefer to do business in face-to-face, prefer face-to-face discovery. So I think that we're entering a really important time for our industry. And therefore, it was important to spend the time really educating lawmakers who they rightfully don't have the time to really study every industry. And so it's definitely time very well spent.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time today, Herve. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.